Well, hey there, Tiffany here, and this is the After Hours podcast. Now, I am here on location, literally after hours, at the Renegade Toy Shop. And it's really, really cool in here. And I got a chance to look around while they were closing up. But yeah, we're literally here after hours, so I love it. And I am here with a very, very talented new filmmaker that I had the pleasure of meeting. Yes, I had the pleasure of meeting at a recent film screening. They were screening two movies that I was in, and then in his film, Good Eatins, it's called. It was added, and yeah. So state your name for the lovely people.
No, howdy. I'm Mike Rogers, 28 years old, and I'm hometown around here, Youngstown, Ohio. So.
Yes. All right. Yeah. Very nice to sit down with you, and because we met briefly at the screening and stuff.
Yeah, just a little bit of time.
Yeah. So yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do. And
Yeah. So, currently right now I'm on dialysis.
Okay.
Got kidney failure.
Oh, okay.
So I've been doing that for about a year now, and so I came back to the toy shop because I've always been around, but I had other jobs that I did.
Yeah.
So main passion is toys. Toy photography is a big thing I do, and a lot of my paintings and stuff like I reflect my photography in as well. So big nerd. That's kind of my big thing I do. So
yeah, nothing wrong with that. You know, we're all,
Hell
I think,
yeah.
we're all a bunch of big nerds, I think. So yeah. And you, like I said, when we met, we met at the screening where your film, Good Eatins, was filmed, and it's a short film, but definitely packs a lot into 20 minutes. I mean, there's a lot that happens in that film, and it almost seems like a feature because there's so much that happens. But like, can you tell us a little about the film and the process of making it, and just a little bit of what went into it?
Yeah. So what inspired my movie, as funny as it is, was I was just getting back into the dating game and met someone and went over and ended up getting catfished. They were not at all the same person.
That's not good.
It was like super sketchy. And,
no catfishing, people. Come on.
Yeah. So no, it was bad. She was bigger than me. So, but and I'm not trying to be mean. It's just it was sketchy. It was
right.
Bad.
Well, if somebody lies about who they are and like what they, I mean, you know, that kind of it. I mean, even if they do turn out to be like, you know, pretty cool, that's still kind of like.
Oh, big red flag.
Yeah, okay, big red flag. Like,
easily it's bad.
What else? Like, you know, what else is there? I mean, you know, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was the whole night of that. But what I've always learned, like with my whole life, is like I like to turn trauma into my own humor or make something from it. And so I wanted to do a movie, and mention again, I lost my dad, and he introduced me to horror when I was a young kid, and so I wanted to do something, honor him, make fun of something I went through, and so Good Eatins was kind of born from that.
Oh, so Good Eatins was born from like your catfishing incident?
Yep. It was all of that. And
oh man!
So I rewatched like the old Texas Chainsaw Massacres just to do a little research, especially for like filming angles, music cues, and that's how it was made, you know. And I wanted it to be longer. I wanted to do like an hour-long movie.
Yeah.
And just that process of just the 20 minutes that I filmed, that still was like tiresome and frustrating at times. And but, overall, I am happy with how it came out. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's always going to be like some type of like, you know, gremlin that enters the scene when you're filmmaking. I mean, sometimes it's like a minor issue, sometimes it's like a larger issue, but but sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches and like work, just kind of work with what you got and everything. And but I thought, the movie turned out really well. And like I said, it kind of it gave a little bit of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Definitely, I got that. There was also I got a little bit of like kind of Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses. Like I kind of got a little bit of that, and also a bit of Silence of the Lambs, because there is one scene where really it made me think of Buffalo Bill. Like if Buffalo Bill and Leatherface were smashed together into a character, that I don't want to give away too many spoilers of the movie because you should totally see it. But that it was that's what it made me think of. I was like, yeah, like if somebody took Buffalo Bill and Leatherface and put them together, it would be that character. So
that's cool. I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
that's a huge compliment. That's
cool.
So.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, like I said, I could definitely see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre though, in that. And but we're talking about like challenges like with the film. And so what were some of the challenges that you guys faced while making that film?
Honestly, for the most part, it was trying to do like the special effects, just because I've never done it before. And like there's like a scene where I was trying to hide the bag and it's clearly visible, but I feel like it just gave to that charm of the cheesiness I was going for with the movie.
Yeah,
there's the main thing, like while filming, that I wanted to instill with everybody who helped was to have fun. And I also encouraged everybody who like think what your character would say. Splurt out whatever you want to do. You think your character would, the impact they have.
Yeah.
So, because I didn't want to, even though it was just a short first time cheesy film, I didn't want to be like the director that was like hounding on everybody.
Yeah, like everybody.
I just wanted to have a good time. And I think you can tell in the final product that it was a blast. So.
It seemed like everybody was having fun. Now, was there a script or did you guys just completely ad lib or was there
I had
a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. I had a overall script, but a lot of the scenes specifically of me and the other killer, that was all ad lib. That was just us feeding off one another. And you could kind of tell sometimes, like you can tell me like slip up a little bit trying to think what to say. So I want to get better at that because I think that's funnier or more surprising of different answers, not to have it all written down and whatnot. So no, very happy with how it turned out. For the first project that I did, I think it came out pretty good. So
I think I definitely agree. And everybody at the screening seemed to enjoy it too. So I mean, and like I said, when we were talking before this, I mean, I did say I'm really glad that like they were able to add your film to the lineup. I mean, that was just, and I think it just kind of gave it that little, kind of cool little send off, before we closed out the night. And, just kind of here's this, very cool, slightly twisted short film.
Yeah. No, I was surprised. I couldn't believe it when they asked me, and they covered the prices for it and everything. That's awesome. Were super helpful. So I got free exposure, and it's just I can't get over it.
And what are your other? Do you have any other plans to like send the film anywhere, to show it anywhere?
I need to so I want to look into that because I know it's on Letterboxd now, and so that's like the farthest it's gotten. I was looking at. I think I can upload it to Tubi. I know they have like a short film section.
Yeah, they do.
So I'm thinking about trying to get it on there, and then Amazon has a thing too. So I want to try to spread it more, but I'm also like I'm deep diving into like the script for the second one now, trying to, because I want to make that long. I want to make that a full hour,
a full length.
So,
So can you give us like not too much, but little insight to your next film? Is it Good Eatins verse, or is it something completely different?
It'll be Good Eatins. It's definitely. I want to do more projects, but I think Good Eatins is where my heart's at, just because, especially the reaction I've gotten now. And I will say one little scene I'm looking forward to doing the intro, and I'll say what it is. I'm going to do like a nightclub scene where it's just like a mass like fight scene with the brothers and like a whole crowd of people dancing. It's kind of like the beginning of Blade with the vampires a little bit. So I want to shoot for something like that. I think that'd be cool, and if I do it right.
That would be fun.
But just as the intro, and then like make the rest of the movie a slow burn.
Nice. So it's going to be in the Good Eatins verse, you said.
Yep, for sure. I think it'll be called Good Eatins: The Squeal as the sequel. So
there you go.
And this time I'm getting like custom masks made, so a little bit more of a budget. Know what I'm doing, so a little bit more.
So. Well, I mean, because but I think that you did it right, especially like with being like a new filmmaker. You did it right with doing like a short film. because sometimes, people tend to bite, they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this big, this big thing. And then they end up like biting off more than what they can chew. And then, it ends up, I mean, it can still get done, but it ends up like becoming less of, it's like, you don't really like, it's like enjoy it as much, so it's best to, I think you did it the right way, which was kind of get your feet wet with like, a short film, and then, kind of get a feel for how it is, and then go into, okay, we want to make a feature length. And then now, because now you know what to do, know what to do.
Way better. My goal is definitely for like the second one. I want it to up the dark humor a little bit, but I want to make a little bit like more serious scenes, because that's like, I mean, I'm happy with all the reactions I've gotten from it.
Yeah.
But like, I know like there's some scenes where like I have had friends laugh, which they can't help it. But I want one good cringy like scene that really gets everybody like really invested.
Yeah.
Like where they're just like, whoa, And I want to do it like on a cheap, budget friendly but practical, so it looks real, but still fun, So.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what would you say you learned from making the short Good Eatins that you're going to be taking into this next feature length?
Honestly, film everything is what I want to say, because the one thing I learned is when I edited Good Eatins, I went through two phases. One where I thought I finished the film, and then it got corrupted and I lost it all and I had to redo it.
Oh no.
But when I redid it, I liked things better because I looked through more footage that I just had like sitting around from having fun. I'm like, oh, I could clip that to look like, zoom in on the face, or different camera shots to fill in the movie and add a little more filler to it. So definitely I want to film as much as I can, just so I have that extra footage.
Yeah.
Especially for like the bloopers part, just to show
gosh, you got to have bloopers.
Yeah, so definitely that's my goal for this next one. So, and give myself more time.
Yeah.
Because Good Eatins I wanted it out by Halloween, and I announced it like 2 months before, so I rushed a lot of filming.
Yeah.
So if I give I want to have the second one, I think, come out Halloween next year or this year. So plenty of time to film, edit, get everything just right. So
yeah. Oh no, that's awesome. Yeah, because and there's like, it's kind of like a blessing and a curse if you like announce it and say, oh, I want to have it out by Halloween, because on the one hand, it kind of, lights a fire under you and you're like, okay, now I really have to do it. But then it's like, if something goes wrong and, it ends up getting pushed back, well, then you kind of have to be like, well, yeah, I want to have it done, but it's kind of pushed back, and, or, you rush to get it done and it ends up not being as good as it could be, but like I said, I think, you seem to have a really good crew of dedicated people for Good Eatins and everything. And you guys were able to turn out a good product, I think. So
I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, no problem. And and I, definitely, makes us all look forward to the next one. So, and since you're filmmaking, and I know you said in your introduction, when you at the film screening that your dad actually got you into horror films and everything. And I thought that was really cool, especially since most people's parents are like, I don't want you watching that and blah, blah, blah. No, I tell the story like so many times that I got in trouble for getting caught watching Child's Play.
Oh, wow. Wow. I was watching that as a kid.
And I was like, but you know what? But all it did was pique my curiosity even more. It's like, okay, well, why don't you want me watching?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And it certainly didn't get me away from it in the long run. So, but like, what would you say is, especially since you grew up watching a lot of horror, what would you say is, like, are some of your favorite directors?
So I would only, like, for the big one would be George Romero. Zombies are like funny enough, are my favorite category of movie. I grew up watching all of those. Day of the Dead was one of my favorites growing up. And then I can't remember the name of the director, but like the Puppet Master movies.
The Puppet Master.
Like those were a big thing. Child's Play was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, Jason X was like one of my favorite movies too, even though it's so bad. But I'd say that, and
the bad ones are the most enjoyable though.
Always. And then I'd say Guillermo del Toro, another one, and it's because of his practical effects in every movie. I'm a sucker for practical over CGI. I think it looks like I love the Rubber Suit Godzilla still more than the new movies. So anything practical, anything that lights up better in a movie, I think is way cooler than any CGI could ever do. So.
And I think that that's really what I like about the older films. Is that that it are the practical effects, and just because you can really appreciate like how much time and talent and artistry it actually takes to to really to make those. I mean, especially if it's like a more like elaborately done scene. So how are like the practical effects for Good Eatins? Because you guys obviously use practical effects.
Yeah. We use everything. I mean, I'll be honest. I just went to Spirit Halloween and just went crazy, and then I like painted the props to make them look a little more realistic. And like for like a blood bag, I filled up a Ziploc bag with fake blood, and try to hide it to make it spray when I stabbed it and stuff like that. So I wanted all that to look as real as I could. Still looks cheesy a little bit, but I've learned like when I do another one, I want to add more paint, more wetness to things and shine and rust and dirt and grit, so a lot more art next time. That's one thing I learned is to take the time with those effects. There's a few scenes you can see in the movie, like when we're eating and you can tell they're just plastic ears on a plate, and it's like and there's like a half-eaten Slim Jim right there. It's like, oh great, that looks real, that doesn't. But it gives it its charm.
And sometimes that is what gives a movie, like you said, its charm. Like when you can obviously, that's obviously a Slim Jim, but in a way though, but it's kind of like it's like so bad it's good. That's when it falls into like the so bad it's good category for that particular scene. And that could even like, and sometimes those are what makes like the films a classic. Sometimes it is like a scene like that where it's like, it's obviously that's a plastic ear, or or like a Slim Jim or something like that. But that's pretty funny. But the thing I've always like found fascinating about horror, and I think why some people fear it so much, and why some people are like, I don't want how old were you when you started watching horror?
I mean, I can
when
remember
your dad introduced you to horror. So
I mean, I can remember being like 6 years old, getting the VHS tape for Day of the Dead out, like for my dad. So really, really young. I mean, I probably shouldn't have been watching them that young, but I enjoyed them, and they terrified me too. But, I mean, it was fun though. That's the best part about horror movies is it's like a roller coaster ride, because your emotions are all over the place for each scene, and that's you're getting something from it.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, it's like, and I am actually going to be doing an episode on this very subject in the very near future. I have it planned. It's funny because I have it outlined, but then it's like, and this is when I do my solo episodes without interviewing somebody. It's funny because I'll have an outline but then it's just like, I kind of like let go of the outline and just kind of go off on like, this tangent, just like what I feel moved to say. But the thing about horror and because people seem to shy away from like darkness, quote unquote, if you will, because they think it's like, oh, if it's dark, that must mean it's bad. If it must be evil, and there's something wrong with you if you like it, or you're doing all kinds of weird stuff, and it's like sacrificing stuff in the backyard and stuff. It's like when really that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, I have met some of the most like I don't know if I should say normal, but some of the most grounded, most kind people within the horror world.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And not that there aren't like grounded, kind people elsewhere, but I just find it so interesting because because there's this one, because actually this past Halloween, obviously you go to haunted attractions and stuff. And I know some people that run like a couple of like the haunted attractions in my area. And they're some of the nicest people you would ever meet, some of the kindest people you would ever meet. And then it's so funny because I also went to just like your typical kind of happy corn maze, pumpkin patch and everything. And you would think that, and I'm not necessarily saying the workers there were like this, but the people there in attendance were some of the most miserable people I'm like, you're at a corn maze and a pumpkin patch. This is a happy, fun place. Why are you so miserable? But there were so many, and I'm just like, wow, it's like I'm sure most people would think it would be the other way around, but it's not. And I think the reason why, and I also heard somebody else talking about this too, I think a big reason why is because, people who are into horror, it's like we're willing to acknowledge that there's light and dark with everything. And you can only, it's kind of like one of my favorite stories is the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And I think Mr. Hyde, it's a cautionary tale. And Mr. Hyde for me is like the neglected, wounded inner child that never got a chance to really, be himself and, kind of be himself in the world. And so Dr. Jekyll grows up and, is like this well-to-do doctor, but yet he still has that curiosity. But the thing is, it's like, you don't want to completely destroy the Hyde character. What you want to do is, kind of look at and it kind of goes with the whole thing in the spiritual world called like doing shadow work, where you want to look at your shadow, look at that inner child and be like, okay, like I see you, I hear you, and we can integrate ourselves and everything. But I think a lot of people are afraid to do that. And so therefore they like avoid anything that has to do with, anything that's not like butterflies and rainbows and all that stuff. And like, what are your thoughts on that?
You see that a lot, and I've seen it. For me, I'm in multiple communities. I'm in the toy community, I'm in the metal community.
Yeah.
And you get to see very different facets of people and how they are with one another. And like, even, like I use the example of being in the metal community because people hear metal music and they immediately think, oh, that's, devil worshiping, ha ha, screaming. And it's not, there's a lot of emotion.
Oh yeah.
And I've met the nicest people in a mosh pit, like literally kicking my ass like 5 minutes ago. And then we're hugging and having a beer together like 10 after, so it's like, you see those different people. And what I've always thought of it and what it really is like, to use your pumpkin patch as an example, the people there, they're going there for a self-indulgence. They're going there for themselves. Well, a haunted house, that's an experience that everybody shares.
Yeah.
It's a more, group bonded, experience than a normal, where they just go there to find your own pumpkin, find your own apple cider,
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to like generically categorize people, but
absolutely. Yeah.
It's a whole different way of, looking at things because like to bring up the haunted house thing, you're meeting people who are there who want to be scared.
Yeah.
They're looking for a reaction, and it's nothing funnier to see somebody else get scared too. So it's overall everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
So that's just the way I look at it.
Yeah. 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 I mean, that's definitely a good point though too, because like you said, it's kind of like, are you here to have a group and community experience, or are you just there for self-indulgence because you think that that's what you're supposed to do? Well, yeah, you're supposed to go to a pumpkin patch. I mean, I love pumpkin patches, don't get me wrong, but like I said, it's just something that, I observe because, I am a people watcher. And I think a lot of us artistic types are, we tend to be people watchers. We tend to just kind of observe, how people react to different things, and and then just be like, interesting. And I do think that a lot of people are afraid to face like that kind of darker like shadow, and like I guess the Mr. Hyde part of themselves, and and really dig deep and be like, okay, why is that? Why do I have this hang up? Why do I really believe what I do? Do I really believe what I do? And then then you go down the rabbit hole of, are your thoughts really your own?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's the thing too, that shows growth with people. If you're able to, I think, to bring horror movies into it, you're able to watch a gruesome horror movie or psychological thriller, and realize the things that are wrong, realize the signs in that movie that show that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people in real life don't like to acknowledge the little signs of things that could be something negative or something positive.
Yeah.
There's a lot, things so fast nowadays with like Instagram, TikTok, Reels, short clips. Everybody wants that short, fast, high. And they don't want to sit through and really give a chance to understand something. And that's just like a societal thing,
Right.
No one gives a chance to understand one another. So that all could be wrapped in, into the same thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, and even the whole thing, like with the final girl, like for me, the whole like final girl trope, if you will, that represents somebody overcoming adversity, because a lot of the time the final girl is somebody who's like take Halloween, like Laurie Strode, for example. It's a lot of the time they're they start out as these kind of shy, very timid, but then it takes going through that adversity and like fighting that unknown terror, is that when they're able to really dig deep and face that head on and really become like a completely new version of themselves, and really become and stronger from that and grow from that. And and for me, like that's what a lot of horror is, because even if you look at say It Chapter 2, for instance, a lot of them, when they spoiler alert if you haven't seen It Chapter 2, but I still recommend watching it, just for this, even for this alone, and like Bill Skarsgård's performance and all that. But even with like It Chapter 2, it wasn't until they actually faced their own inner shadows, their own traumas, their own just their own stuff, that they were finally able to defeat the clown, because the clown was feeding off of their fears. And I really think that that watching at least certain horror films like really gives you an opportunity to to think about things like that. So all right, so but but as we were talking about, like what are your thoughts on just horror giving people that opportunity to maybe kind of see part of themselves maybe within like a certain film?
The way I look at it, and this way I kind of learned just through my own personal experiences growing up, is horror, it honestly, it plays on the idea of growing up, the change of becoming a new person.
Love that.
And not only is that the lesson you learn growing up, but that's a thing in life in general. I've always want to strive to be a different person next year, learn to be different, learn to accept things, learn to understand things. And that's kind of like why horror is so great, because in every horror movie you always see different backgrounds of every type of character.
Yeah.
So you always get the stereotypes, you get the cheesy stuff, but for the most part, it's always about that final person overcoming this unimaginable fear.
Yeah.
And that's life. That's life in general.
Oh,
that's growing up. That's getting old. And that, that's just the way I look at everything.
Yeah.
Always take everything that you see, you consume, as a chance to understand the world a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So, yeah. So, and you said that you're going to be getting Good Eatins onto like Tubi and like different streaming sites and everything. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Like, let us know when it's up, and definitely would love to, let everybody know about it. And I know you said you're making a feature length film. Is there anything else that you're working on as well?
I have some other side projects. I want to do more short films.
Nice, yeah.
I announced one that I plan on doing next year. It's going to be like a Templar demon film, similar to like Dante's Inferno, like the video game.
Interesting, yeah.
And like the working title so far is The Silence of God. So
okay.
It'll be like more of a survival religious movie, but with like a very basic demon. So
nice. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That sounds really interesting, especially like you said, if it's based off of like Dante's Inferno and all of that. Yeah. And where can people find you?
I got Instagram and Facebook, Grizzly Viking Gorilla.
Grizzly Viking Gorilla. All right, cool. So, and to wrap it up, since you're wearing a ghost sweatshirt and in the tradition of an ugly Christmas sweater, I love it. Like, what are some of your favorite bands?
Tyr, Kill Switch Engage, Mon Amarth, Swallow the Sun. Those are my favorites.
Okay, so. Very good. Well, thank you so much for you're welcome for like sitting down with me and doing this. It's literally an after hours chats because, like I said, we're after hours in the toy shop. So this is so awesome. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for sitting down. It was a very fascinating conversation. And this is Tiffany Apan with the After Hours Chats. And we're signing off. And as always, stay safe, please. But always stay spooky.
Hell yeah.
All right.